Thanks very much. And so as this will be auto-advancing, I'll just get right into it. I came to Gov 2.0 and to talking with Tim about some of these issues from my experience as a congressional staffer on the receiving end of a lot of the information that was coming in via these new tools that Web 2.0 had introduced. So whether it was Twitter or Facebook, these were all of the new tools that Congress was embracing over the past 3 or 4 years, and in my opinion, in a lot of ways, to very limited effect. And it doesn't actually seem to be auto-advancing, I would note, but I'll keep going, and I'll stay on time. But as I was looking at a recent report that came out by the NYU school, the Stern School there, and GW, they noted that they measured uptake of Twitter and Facebook use among members of Congress and hailed John McCain as a Twitter genius. And this is someone who was not using email in 2008, so definitely as a bar for the way that Congress has advanced in uptake of social media and Gov 2.0 tools. This was notable. But as I looked into some of the tweets and the use of social media that was taking place by members of Congress, I found that a lot of it was actually, at least in terms of citizen engagement, not extremely effective. You see a lot of partisan use of tweets and the Facebook engagement that's out there. You also have some holdouts that are notable here. Danny Davis apparently is the only member of Congress who still doesn't have a Facebook page and a Twitter account, and Congressman Tim Johnson of Illinois is actually making still at least 100 phone calls to his constituents every day. That does reflect the need of these members of Congress to stay in touch with their constituents, and the question is whether the social media tools that exist right now are actually helping them do that. From my experience in Congress, the actual answer was that it wasn't effective in that way. You see here some of the tweets as reported by the Washington Post from President Obama's 2009 address to Congress. My favorite is the part at the bottom where Congressman Barton's Twitter account tweeted to please disregard the previous message that was from a staffer. But I think that there is enormous potential for the social media use among members of Congress, but right now much of that goes unrealized. Part of understanding why that's the case is to realize the motivations that members of Congress have for for using social media. What we saw with Twitter is all of a sudden a tool that helps politicians reduce policy to short sound bites, which is good because we'd never had that before. And so now we actually have an incentive and an excuse to reduce the policy discussion to smaller pieces, which is not necessarily in every case a better way of doing it. In addition, for members of Congress who really only want to hear from their constituents and not from the entire internet, you have tools like Facebook and Twitter and other social networking pieces that don't allow members of Congress to know if they're hearing from their constituents, rather than absolutely anyone who's signed up to get a Twitter account. This was what we identified, my team and I, as the broken filter. You have all of these organizations that exist to get individuals' messages to Congress, and they're really good at it. In the past 2 years, the Congressional Management Foundation has found that 44% of Americans contacted their member of Congress, and 84% of that was at the prompting of a third party. They're sending in tweets, they're sending in emails at the span of about 3,000 per day, and there's no corresponding tool to process all of that information. That's what we at PopVox are working on, is a tool that actually takes the input that people want to provide to the members of Congress and spits it out on the other end in a way that's meaningful for members of Congress so that they can know what their constituents are concerned about. And it's a transparent, open, public accounting of the constituent sentiment in the country so that it's not just a congressional staffer processing all of that, but members of the public, other organizations, and the media. So hope that you will look for us at popvox.com, and I actually am finishing right on time. Thank you.